Now, is anybody out there really surprised to learn that another woman has accused Governor Andrew Cuomo of inappropriate behavior? Will you really be surprised when 5 more come out of the woodwork? He's just another powerful man in a party that historically gives a pass to men who spout feminist platitudes. What's more interesting here is the bizarre Democrat values at play in the Andrew Cuomo saga. Here's the skinny on the latest accusations, courtesy of the New York Times. Anna Rooch had never met Governor Andrew Cuomo before encountering him at a crowded New York City wedding reception in September of 2019. Her first impression was positive enough. The governor was working the room after toasting the newlyweds, and when he came upon Miss Rooch, now 33, she thanked him for his kind words about her friends. But what happened next instantly unsettled her. Mr. Cuomo put his hand on Miss Rooch's bare lower back, she said in an interview on Monday. When she removed his hand with her own, Miss Rooch recalled the governor remarked that she seemed, quote, aggressive, and placed his hands on her cheeks. He then asked if he could kiss her, loudly enough for a friend standing nearby to hear. Miss Rooch was bewildered by the entreaty, she said, and pulled away as the governor drew closer. And thanks to the trusty modern-day cell phone, there's a photo to commemorate pretty much the exact moment Meathead's older brother grabbed a young woman that looks to be about his grandchildren's age. We'll take a look right after this quick commercial break to pay some bills. Well, that is, if the Google gods don't feel it's too sensitive for our innocent eyes. After that winter wake-up call and the breakdown of the power grid, nobody can deny we're all quite vulnerable. We saw power grid failures, and severe weather made the food supply chain come to a grinding halt in many parts of the country. And whenever that happens, people suffer. That's why it's smart and fairly easy these days to prepare in advance for those disasters by stocking up on long-term storage emergency food. Food that stays fresh for up to 25 years, so you never go hungry. I strongly recommend my Patriot Supply, America's leader in self-reliance. They're the only source I use for emergency food planning. And now you can save $50 off a 4-week supply of delicious meals that give you 2,000 plus calories a day. That's what you'll need to survive the next disaster, and saving $50 is impossible to pass up, but supplies aren't limited, so go to preparewithresurgence.com and stock up now. That's preparedwithresurgence.com. Or hit that link in the description box and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with being prepared today. Now, looking at Cuomo's face and the bar in the background, I would not be surprised to learn that alcohol was involved, although that's not an excuse for Mr. Nipple Ring's behavior. What's more interesting than just another predictable sexual indiscretion of a powerful Democrat is the Democrats' hierarchy of values. All last year, conservatives were sounding loud sirens about the fact that Cuomo's policies were unnecessarily wiping out nursing home patients. Democrats not only ignored these concerns, but they also turned Cuomo into a secular saint. He was the politician they held up as the virtuous, a stark contrast to the alleged murderous Donald Trump. Now let's not forget, because in my humble opinion, this is the only reason this man is being taken down. Things got dicey for Cuomo when a black woman to his political left, Letitia James, revealed that he'd caused more deaths than he'd originally admitted. This really weakened him, especially in New York. Are you not going to listen to a black female far leftist? The media did try to cover for him by focusing on Ted Cruz's Cancun trip, which didn't kill anybody, but that tactic failed miserably. Like jackals in the Sahara, Democrats started smelling blood in the air. Still, Cuomo probably could have survived this by laying low, and eventually the story would die off in a lengthy court process. The media would have eventually buried it. What's really going to bring Cuomo down, if it does, because we're not there yet? But they'll be the same things that brought Harvey Weinstein down. Accusations of sexual harassment against women. Suddenly, quote, believe all women is in vogue again. Although Cuomo has of course changed his tune on that. You see, if challenged about ignoring Cuomo's deadly nursing home decisions, Democrats would presumably argue that COVID was a unique emergency, that politicians make huge decisions in the dark and on the fly. Now, the fact that they resisted this defense when they were blaming Trump is besides the point, of course. It's always one rule for Republicans and another for Democrats. But spot the hypocrisy regarding the sexual harassment issue. It's not just that Cuomo is defending himself by saying, "Don't believe all women." It's that the Democrats are taking this hysterical pro-woman stance at the same time that they're advancing the Equality Act, which relegates women to non-person status. Think about that. The Equality Act does this by explicitly including gender identity as a prohibited act in areas including public accommodations and facilities, education, federal funding, employment, housing, credit, and the jury system. Further, it expands the definition of public accommodations to include places or establishments that provide 1. Exhibitions, recreation, exercise, amusement, gatherings, or displays. 2. Goods, services, or programs. And 3. Transportation services. In sum, the bill prohibits an individual from being denied access to a shared facility, including a restroom, a locker room, and a dressing room. That is in accordance with the individual's gender identity. As many have noted at this point, this means that women will have to exit side by side with mentally ill or morally opportunistic men in restrooms, locker rooms, spas, Brazilian wax salons, hospitals, jails, and athletics, including those with scholarship at stake. Women's rights to privacy, the right that underlies abortion laws, FYI, and their rights to achieve accolades and money in areas in which they cannot physically compete with men are going up in smoke. So here's what Cuomo's saga really shows us. It's okay to murder old people, although it gets a little less okay if a black woman starts making noise about it. Well, a leftist black woman, sorry. But what's really going to destroy you are women's complaints that you sexually harass them. The monumental amount of hypocrisy still amazes me. Their primacy in this area does not protect them from a law that's going to put them at the mercy of mentally ill and opportunistic men in their bathrooms, locker rooms, hospitals, jails, and of course sports teams. Speaking of sports teams, the mental gymnastics going on here is just breathtaking. I also look forward to covering how Meathead is dealing with this over the next few days. Most of this came by way of the American Thinker. If you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everybody for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.